That Bay Area.
What's up, Richmond, CA? There's some real stuff right here.
Add on coming down here.
It's Aji, man.
Add on.
Once upon a time.
Add on.
I knew how to rhyme.
Keep your at home. Me on. Or me wanted to own. Me on type of flow.
That's all I got to say.
Me on.
All right.
Or me wanted to own. Me on type of flow.
Welcome back to another episode of the Add On Podcast. Feels good to be back, man. Another episode. Let's jump right into it, man. I just wrapped up watching Jake the Problem Child Paul versus Anderson the Spider Silva, man. What a fight. I think this was definitely Jake Paul's toughest opponent. Which is crazy to say, considering the fact that Jake is, 25 years old? Anderson Silva is 47 years old, but was giving them the work, man. Like, I had it going into the last round. I had it very close. I really didn't know who was going to win. I felt like, Jake was probably favored to win just because, I don't think they was going to let Jake lose, whatever the case may be with the judges. But I think with Jake, landing that overhand right in the last round, definitely kind of put it over. Like, I think if he didn't land that, but still kind of just managed to do decent in that last round, he was still going to win. But I think it would have been by split decision instead of unanimous decision. That's my only thing. But let's start off with Anderson. What I kind of saw from him. I was kind of surprised, man, what I saw from him. Obviously, I think Jake won that first round, but especially starting in the second round, I think he was kind of, confusing Jake a little bit. Jake was, he was kind of letting him, he didn't throw a lot of punches in the first round. Silva did. And surprisingly, Jake did throw a lot of punches because, in his previous fights, he didn't throw a whole lot of punches. He just kind of was baiting him, and threw the overhand right, and it was lights out. But in this fight, Jake was kind of the one pressing forward. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was going to be kind of I wasn't too sure if Jake had the stamina, but obviously he's 25 years old. He should have that stamina. And it was only 8 rounds. Like, if they were boxing 12 rounds, who knows, what would happen, you know what I'm saying? Because either dude, seemed like it was going to go down at certain points of the fight, but Jake has a chin on him, man. But I was amazed with, Anderson Silva's footwork. I was definitely amazed with his footwork, man. He was dancing around, kind of taunting him, like doing a little spider, like they call him a spider, like, leaning down, just like his head movement. I mean, I was kind of afraid for him because that, as good as he is doing that, we all remember that Chris Weidman fight where he was doing the exact same thing, but again got caught. You know what I'm saying? That's very dangerous. But against Jake Paul, obviously he's not, as experienced probably as Chris Weidman, was at the time with as far as striking and stuff like that. So it was a totally different fight. But, Anderson Silva did his thing. I think he should hang his hat high. Both showed tremendous respect to each other afterwards, after the fight. And Anderson Silva, man, is legit. Even at 47 years old, man, y'all saw what he did, man. And he just kept landing that uppercut, in the clinch every time they got close. I think they didn't want to get too close at times, because every time they got close, I feel like Jake started hugging at certain times, and you can even tell that Silva was getting kind of irritated. But I mean, they both had to be very cautious when they got close, because either one of them could, knock each other out, especially Jake. Maybe even a little bit more than Silva. Silva definitely had. I would say Silva definitely had the better combinations, and just, as far as the jab goes, I don't know. I felt like early on it was probably Silva, because obviously he's taller and longer, and I felt like Jake was using his jab, but he was not connecting a lot of shots for this first couple of rounds. But as the fight started to progress, I feel like Jake definitely was starting to kind of pick him apart a little bit better, and trying to finding certain angles that he could use to try to Silva, because he's obviously but I think 30-year-old Silva, man, 35-year-old Silva would have got Jacob out of there, man. I ain't even gonna hold you. If it was that close of a fight at Silva at 47, and that's still saying something. I don't want people to discredit Jake at all, including myself, because I was kind of skeptical. I think this squashes any rumor, any conspiracy theory that the Tyron Woodley fight was rigged. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I thought it was rigged, because if you watch the fight, it was kind of like Jake was kind of twisting his hand a little bit right before he threw the knockout, and we'll never know. But I think with this fight kind of solidified, like, nothing was rigged. We just got to admit that we got a YouTuber, content creator, whatever, a superstar, social media star that's knocking dudes out left and right. Is actually a pure boxer. And I don't know, talking about fighting Canelo, that's a little too much, man. Get to at least 10 fights first before you fight a real, actual young, pure boxer first. I don't know, and he's like 186 pounds. I don't know who would he fight, You know what I'm saying? And David Benavidez, I heard there was rumors on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he kind of squashed it. He said they cool. Jake Paul did call out Nate Diaz after the fight. Let's touch on Jake's. You know what I think of Jake. You know, performance. Overall, man, I think he definitely got to fix some issues for sure. But I was impressed with. He's just a warrior. Jake Paul, like he was not going away. He kept getting tagged. I'm curious to see what the total punches landed because it got to be close. Because I'm not even gonna hold you. I felt like Jake definitely landed the more power punches, but I don't know if he necessarily landed the more total punches. Because it seemed like every time they got close, and every time Jake was up against the ropes, Silva was landing the uppercut. He was landing the jab, a straight right jab, but landing a right cross. Like he was landing more, I feel like more combinations. Jake had a couple of combinations, but it was like to the body, like more power combinations. But I feel like overall, Silva kind of had him on that. So I'm definitely kind of curious to see. I'm not saying that Silva had more, but I'm just kind of see what the difference is. Like it couldn't be a clear-cut difference because, early on, I felt like Jake was swinging and missing. But then later on, Silva was swinging on a little missing. So I thought I really thought both of them got tired at certain points of the fight, but really kind of managed to. I feel like that's what Jake was. He was throwing a lot of overhand rights early because he was trying to get him up out of there early. But that's why he was hugging kind of in the middle rounds. But definitely kind of recovered as he should. But he should definitely have more stamina than Silva, even though Silva has fought way longer than Jake Paul. But I think Jake Paul is legit, man. I think he's legit. We all got to admit it. Say what you want to say about him, man. And it's not his fault that, fighters pull out of the fight. He's been trying to fight Tommy Fury, backed out of some injury. We really don't know if it was some injury or whatnot. Then the other black dude that he tried to fight, I forgot what happened. I think he didn't make weight or something like that. I think they just scared, man, low-key. I ain't even go. I think they scared. They may not be physically scared of Jake Paul. Like, if they see him on the street, they're not going to, like, back off. Like, I'm talking about, like, scared, like as far as like in the ring, they don't want that tarnish on their record or their legacy, whatever the case may be. Like just so happens if they do lose, they don't want, oh, I lost to a YouTuber. So they don't want that. They don't want to take that chance. So I think that's why Jake he's been wanting to fight real boxers, but nobody's willing to fight him except these dudes from the MMA, former UFC fighters, NBA players, celebrities that wanted to fight Jake Paul. Nobody wanted to fight like an actual fighter, boxer, because I feel like Jake is not ducking from nobody, for sure. I'm definitely looking forward to his next fight against Nate Diaz. We'll see if that happens. I would love to have seen a real, young, pure, actual boxer who's strictly just boxing. But, hey, we're going along for the ride, man. He's 6-0 now, and I think he's improving with every fight. And, yeah, man, that was definitely an exciting fight. I was on my toes the whole entire time. And, no, I didn't pay for it. I wonder if y'all paid for that pay-per-view. I didn't pay for it. I know some illegal streams. I ain't even gonna hold you. And I know this time I actually watched it on Instagram Live. So a YouTuber I know, I'm not gonna say his name. He actually live streamed it. It got taken down once, but then he turned the volume down and we were able to continue watching the fight. But definitely a more exciting fight. But I heard Stephen A talking the other day about the sport of boxing. And how a shame it is. Like, back in the day, we used to get all the fights we wanted. Sugar Ray Leonard, you know what I'm saying? All these fights, Manny Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoya, Julio Cesar Chavez, Tommy Hearns, all these dudes, they were fighting dudes like in their prime. Sugar Shane Mosley, all these dudes, they were fighting dudes in their weight class, in their prime, not waiting too long to fight them. Roberto Duran, you know what I'm saying? All these dudes. But in today's boxing, you rarely see two fighters fight in their prime. Like, you know what I'm saying? You might get down the road, but just for instance, the two fights that we all want to see, which one of them might happen and one of them probably won't happen, we all know is Gervonta Tank Davis versus King Ryan Garcia and Errol Spence Jr., The Truth, versus Terrence Bud Crawford. Now, the Terrence Bud Crawford fight against Errol Spence Jr. was ridiculous, man. Like, the fact that Crawford agreed to all those terms, man, and, basically had, I believe, no guaranteed money, which was insane. How you, number one ranked pound for pound, the welterweight champion, undefeated, and you have, for one, how you even the B-side to begin with? I mean, I can see why he'll probably be the B-side because Spence has more belts, I would say, but I mean, he's ranked more higher pound for pound or whatever. Even if Spence is the A-side, like the fact that there was no guaranteed money, he left top rank. So you know, at this point, I don't even know. He's fighting some other, scratch up fight, Terrence Crawford. Spence might fight some other dude. I lost all hope pretty much, man. I hope it's probably going to end up being another Floyd Manning where they fight when they real old and we don't want to see it. And it's a shame, man. It's definitely a shame. I mean, I'm not going to call it all hope. It could happen. I heard they say it could happen early 2023, maybe like in February or something, I think I heard. But you never know. I mean, the fight was supposed to happen in November. You know what I'm saying? This next upcoming month. November like 11th, I think at one point. Then it was November 19th it was supposed to happen. And then it kept falling off. I'm not too sure why that happened or, what the reason on that is. But, it is what it is. But moving on to Tank Davis versus Garcia, this is a fight I think could probably happen a little bit more than the Crawford Spence. Like, just because I feel like Crawford Spence has been buzzing for more years, obviously, than this fight. But I think just with De La Hoya and everything, and they're continuously posting about it. Like Crawford and Spence leading up to it, they weren't posting about it, which people thought was a good sign. Like they weren't posting about it, so everybody thought that behind the scenes they were signing the contracts and they were trying to get this fight done. Because sometimes when you always posting it and you kind of blinding the public eye and you making the public think that the fight's gonna happen, it could be, a negative. But they're continuously posting, tagging. They're not tagging, but they're tweeting about each other, Tank and Ryan. And I definitely want to see that fight for sure. Hopefully we can at least get that, because that definitely won't be a letdown. It'll probably sell even more than the Crawford Spence fight. Like obviously with Tank and Garcia, both internet sensations, man. Like both in their prime. Tank Davis, knockout power. People call him like the little version of Mike Tyson. That dude's knocking dudes out left and right. And Ryan Garcia's speed is insane. And also he has power as well and both knockout artists. And I will definitely want to see that fight. I definitely want to see Garcia win for sure. I think Garcia is one of my favorite fighters. And I mean, just if you just look at the two, he should be the, not favorite in the fight, but he should have the advantage. Simply the fact of Tank is 5'5". Garcia is like 5'10", 5'11". Like Garcia is not even supposed to be a freaking lightweight. Like that dude can move up all the way to middleweight, light heavy, like by the end of his career, like shoot, heavyweight. I don't know if he's gonna move up that heavy, but I'm saying he got the height, probably not heavyweight, but he got the height to continue to move up, middleweight, stuff like that. He can be in that maybe 180 something range or something. Even like do what Canelo did basically, and just keep moving up for sure. Because Tank can't do that at no 5'5" for sure. The heaviest a Tank can probably go is probably maybe like 140. He might be able to go 147, but just Tank that small and that big, like he's perfect. I feel like at 135, 140 for Tank. But Garcia, on the other hand, being 5'6" inches taller, he could definitely move up in weight and continue to dominate dudes. But I mean, he's doing a lot of talking, Garcia, as always, and just I don't know if it's. I feel like, but will say I don't feel like either one of them are scared. I don't feel like either one of them are holding back. It's just back to what Stephen A was saying. It's just boxing, just the promoters and. It's always something that they mess it up. They always blind the public, make you think that a fight is going to happen, but are able to make these championship fights happen for whatever reason, it is, man, which is very unfortunate. We'll see, man, with boxing for sure. Let's move on to the Lakers, obviously, in their 0-5 start. It's not a good look, bro. Lakers 0-5. And you can't blame it all on Russ. Russ is actually playing decent. Anthony Davis is continuously staying hurt all the time. I think he was out last game with lower back tightness. And it's just sad to see, man. Like, I don't know. I really don't know what the Lakers thought, what Rob Pelinka thought, what that organization thought of not bringing anybody back, and just as far as I'm saying not bringing like new pieces to the puzzle, you know what I'm saying? But like LeBron, like Stephen A said, like, Shannon Sharp said, it's basically the same team as last year, just a younger version. They got rid of Dwight, got rid of Carmelo because they were kind of a liability on defensive end or whatever the case may be. But it's just, man, the pieces are not fitting. They got a lot of talented dudes, I feel like, Lonnie Walker, LeBron, Russ, like all these dudes can attack the basket like crazy, strong, athletic, but nobody can shoot a lick. Nobody can shoot. How do you guys not have one reliable shooter? At least in that 2020 bubble, you had, Danny Green, you had KCP, you had all these dudes, but, right now, you're not really having anybody. And I don't really want to even stress on the Lakers right now. I'm just all I'm hoping for, or all I'm banking on, is just LeBron past Kareem at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm really like, I never had a favorite basketball team. I've just really been a LeBron fan since 2015. So just really whatever LeBron I support. So I really don't have but I'm starting to really like the Pelicans a lot because I like Zion, and I just kind of like that whole team. So Pelicans might be my favorite team, bro. I don't know yet. You know what I'm saying? Because I've never really had a favorite team. I just had favorite players. But we'll see, man. Hopefully they can get their first win. I think they play the Timberwolves next game, if I'm not mistaken. No, they actually play the Nuggets next at home. So we'll see how that goes. It's getting a shame. And I feel bad for Darvin Ham because it's going to be all, people going to look at him, man. I thought you could fix it. So obviously it wasn't all Frank Vogel's fault, and it wasn't all Russell Westbrook's fault, because even without Russ playing, they still couldn't get it done. So, hey, I don't know, man. We'll see. Ben Simmons is struggling as well, though, man. Ben Simmons is definitely a dude who I continue to support. He's only 26 years old. Was a perennial All-Star, multiple-time All-Star, multiple-time first-team All-Defense. And he's struggling this year, man. I think he's averaging like 6 points, 7 assists, 6.6 rebounds, 7 assists, something like that. Which is crazy. Like that's ridiculous, man. That's like, bench player, just barely getting any minutes. Like, not a starter. Like, Ben, I don't know if he's still hurt or he just lost all his confidence. But Ben's, like I said, the other day we went viral. He airballed a layup. How you gonna airball a layup? You 6'10", man. You got all this tremendous talent. You 6'10", one of the fastest players in the NBA on a fast break with the ball. You can supposed to be a great defender. I think he can defend, because defense is about mindset. Anybody can play defense if they lock in. You might not be able to guard anybody or whatever. Like Steph, for instance. Like this, Steph is not known for a great defender, but he gonna try for sure. Like, Ben is like not even, I don't know if he's even trying. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, he has all the tools, Ben Simmons. He just got to get rid of the mental demons, man, and really just regain his confidence back. And I'm still not holding out hope, because the Nets, they got it. Like I said, with KD, Kyrie, Ben Simmons, you would think on script, man, with all them shooters and stuff. And Steve Nash, his experience, man, you would think they would have a better record than they do. But it's just not working out, man. For whatever reason, I have no idea why. Man, it's just not a good look, man. But I'm holding out hope for Ben Simmons, man. I like the dude. And even a couple years ago when I was in high school, I always said Ben Simmons was a jump shot away from being at least a comparable player as LeBron. That's what I really thought at the time. People gonna call me crazy now. He's nowhere near LeBron, but obviously Ben was never gonna have that fadeaway like LeBron. He's never gonna even drive the basketball like LeBron. But because even when he was an All-Star, he was always averaging less than 20 points. He was always averaging around 15, 16, 17 points. But it was just what he did on both ends of the floor. Feeding Joel defensive end on a fast break. Left and right, dunking with the right, dunking with the left, cross. Like, he was doing all the stuff, and you really just don't see that on the Nets thus far. You know what I'm saying? So it's unfortunate, but we'll keep an eye out on Ben Simmons and the Nets and the Lakers, because I think those are two surprising teams that are definitely struggling this year, and players are struggling all around on both of those teams as well. Taylor Heineke got his first win last week. My team, obviously, the Washington Commanders. I like what I saw early on. He struggled, but I think Taylor Heineke is like I said. I made a video on my other channel. Is a better fit for the Commanders than Wentz. I'm not saying he's a better overall quarterback. I'm not saying that. But I feel like with the Commanders and the way they're constructed and the way their offensive line is constructed, I think Taylor Heineke gives us a better chance, because he's just going to take more risks that you need, and just going to utilize his quickness, his legs outside the pocket. He loves that pile line. Just make certain plays I feel like that Wentz just right now can't make. So obviously I'm not even in a rush. It's no rush to get, Carson Wentz back. I wasn't, happy that he got hurt or whatever. I seen a lot of my fans, a lot of the fans that'll be Commander fan, they were happy that Wentz got hurt, commented on my video. That video I posted blew up, really, you know what I'm saying, for at least for my channel, and even got an ad on it as well. We're kind of happy that Wentz got hurt. And I wasn't happy that Wentz got hurt. That was just kind of like a wake-up call, like, okay, this is a good, opportunity for Wentz, but good opportunity for Heineke. But I just kind of find it funny too, because you got Dak Prescott that went down, Cooper Rush went in. Now you got Wentz went down, and when Heineke going in, and they both went good. So I mean, hopefully Heineke can win us some games. And I'm not saying if he wins some games and they decide to put Carson in, I'll be all for it. But Carson, you got to deliver. You know, just like how Dak did when he came back against the Lions. Obviously, he didn't look that good, but he got them to win. So Heineke's job right now is just to hold it down. His name is called. He's delivered, and we'll see how it goes in these next upcoming weeks, man. Because it's gonna be tough for us, obviously, to win a division this year. You know, the Eagles, Cowboys, Giants are all. I feel like the whole NFC East is just surprising a lot of people. This is not what they thought. You know what I'm saying? I think we're a much better division than what people give us credit for. But, man, we'll see, man. We'll see, definitely. Yeah, but that wraps up this episode, man. That wraps up this episode. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Subscribe over to my other channel, Emmanuel R&D. Yeah, man. Let's wrap it up. We'll see you guys next episode.